Hello, everyone. What's up? Welcome to Boss Rush After Dark, that show that is the alternative podcast for the Boss Rush Network. I am your host, LeRon Dawkins, and as always, my friends, my pals, my partners in crime, maybe, are with me tonight.
Absolutely.
Who's criming? Who's got crimes?
Crimes!
All right.
Crime! We're doing some crimes tonight.
Yep.
A little B&E.
B&E, uh-oh.
Not bacon and
Uh-oh.
eggs. Breaking and
Damn
entering.
it. Damn it. I really did want some bacon and eggs, though.
I know, I'm really hungry. I'm so hungry.
Stop talking about food.
I'm so hungry. I've been on this diet for 3 weeks. I can't eat after 7 o'clock. You guys saw what I ate tonight. That was like a quarter of what I normally eat for dinner, and I'm like, oh my god, I just want pizza, I want chips, I want salsa, I want cheese, I want literally anything other than a piece of meat and some vegetables. I want literally anything else.
Hey, Corey.
What?
I'm gonna sound like such a bully from the gym right now.
No,
Drink more water. Drink more water, bro.
I've had 5 this size bottle of water. I've had 5 of them today.
How much do you weigh, man?
Too much. Not revealing that on the show until I hit my goal weight.
Okay, right now I'm overweight. I'll admit that on camera, and on audio. Like
I've already admitted I'm overweight, dude.
Didn't we talk about
What?
BMI before? And it's not necessarily...
Yeah.
It's your height, too, and the muscle.
Oh, but no, my body looks out of shape for me right now. Yeah. Because I'm currently sitting at 262 pounds, and it's because I'm just lazy and not doing enough cardio right now.
I weigh more than that right now, LeRon, if that makes you feel better.
Okay. Okay then. Damn.
It doesn't make me feel better, but it will make you feel better.
No, I feel bad for both of us because we know we can do better.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to do better. I'm really trying. Like, okay, so not to like rain on your I didn't go to the gym for 2 days parade here, LeRon.
Mhm.
But so
it's not a competition.
it is a competition, LeRon.
Ron isn't.
My goal is to one day be smaller than you, okay?
By the way,
Um,
everybody, say hello again to Stephanie Klimov and Corey Durick.
Oh yeah, hi.
Hi.
We're both here. Stephanie just makes us both look like terrible humans. It's fine.
Sure.
It's fine.
Always blaming me. Once again, the scapegoat.
Yeah. I'm gonna unfollow you on Instagram so I don't feel bad about myself.
I swear, we just aired out a bunch of dirty laundry within the first 5 minutes of the show.
We did.
Yeah.
So okay, so here's this is my daily food intake. Okay, in the morning, I have egg whites and 4 turkey sausage links, a banana, and a mandarin orange. That's my breakfast. For lunch, I will have some sort of.
Oh my gosh.
Stephanie just got attacked by a cat.
Just bitch slapped me out of nowhere. I'm sorry. Whoa.
That was kind of funny.
Sorry, keep going for lunch.
For lunch, I will eat some piece of fruit, usually whatever we have the most of, because that's needs to go first. A salad with vegetables and a piece of probably turkey, most likely on it. And
Dude, this sounds like torture.
And for dinner, I have some sort of meat, which tonight was some spicy shrimp, it was good. Wasn't great. It was good. And some sort of vegetable and or another salad if we're out of vegetables. And that's my day. Until Saturday, I can have one cheat meal and a snack. And I've been doing it for 3 weeks. As of last Saturday, I've lost almost 20 pounds, which I'm very excited for.
Dude, that's
Okay,
awesome.
I'm very happy to hear that.
But
Yeah.
It's time to play devil's advocate.
So
Go
when I
ahead.
hit my first, like, quote unquote milestone goal of 25 pounds, I'm going to
Here it
allow
comes.
myself to have one cheat meal during the week, which I'm very excited for.
Wait, so right now you're doing one cheat meal, what, a month?
A week. A week.
Wait,
A week.
so
No, okay, so let me rephrase that. I'm doing one cheat meal on Saturday. I weigh myself
uh,
Saturday morning, and
oh,
then
you mean you mean during the
Saturday,
weekday?
yeah, Saturday's kind of like a free day, right?
Uh-huh.
I still try to eat okay for breakfast and lunch. It's usually a little bit worse than normal, but and then for dinner I get to eat whatever I want or wherever
Uh-huh.
my wife wants to eat dinner. Uh
Okay.
and some sort of snack like cookie or ice cream or whatever.
Mm.
But when I hit my first milestone goal, I'm going to get one during the week and I'm so excited.
Okay.
And
Now it makes sense. Because I was like, wait, what?
this weekend's the weekend. By the time this
Can
goes
I ask you a
live for
question?
people, I will know.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you tracking your macros while you're doing this?
My what, huh?
That's
That's
what
a
I was
no.
afraid of. That's what I was afraid of.
I don't know what
Corey,
that means.
do you even know how many calories you're taking in right now?
Yeah, I'm taking in about 1,700.
1,700. Okay, okay, because it literally sounded like you're getting under 1,300, and I was trying to assess it. I was trying to assess it as you did it,
Mm-hmm.
because like you're saying some stuff that was like, man,
Yep.
he's got male anorexia because like
Yeah.
I feel like I suffer from the male version of
No,
anorexia.
I make sure I get enough food. It's
Hmm.
just there's just a lot of the same things, like especially for dinner, it's like a lot
Yeah.
of chicken. Like sometimes it's like 3 pieces of chicken and like a whole stalk of asparagus or
Uh,
broccoli or whatever, and it's like
Dude, I couldn't do what you do. I at least need to have 2 desserts a day.
you know what? When I'm actually
if
not
I
thinking
look at
about
it, if I look at a dessert twice a day, I gain weight. Okay, Stephanie.
like I'm one of those people that like I get very indulgent with like sweets and desserts and stuff, and things like that. So it's a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
um,
it's been a it's been a challenging couple weeks. I don't know. I don't miss doing this, but it's something I need to do, and um, it kind of sucks.
yeah, I need to buckle down too because like I should lose some weight. But actually, the main thing I was concerned about was like you just weren't getting enough nutrients because like then it would have been like, man, like you're gonna hit your goal and then like it might be back because like your body is
Hmm.
just in a state of shock.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's not what I was trying to.
I'm making sure I'm not doing what I did like 10 years ago, 12 years ago at this point, where like I would work out like I would work out like 3 or 4 hours a day
Wow.
and run like 5 miles, and then I would like if like I was doing the same thing but like super hardcore, and like this is this is when I was single and worked a night job, and I had all the time in the world. Now I don't, but like I was working out like 3 or 4 hours a day. I was running. I was doing an ab workout before I went to bed. I would if I was doing the thing where like if I wanted a Dorito or something, I would chew it and then spit it out.
That's a problem.
It was, but like I mean, yeah, okay, whatever. I know that, but
But I will say, just side note, like I kind of wish there was a way for us to get like a taste of a food because sometimes we just crave a taste. Just saying. So
mhm.
There's no.
quiet, LeRon.
If I taste the food while I'm on a diet, the diet's done. The meal plan is just screwed at this point. Corey, that was fucking crazy. Like I would chew the chip and spit it out. Like,
Mhm.
ugh.
I would. And I did that from like so what happened was is I went out with some friends on Valentine's Day that year,
Uh,
and I looked at myself and I hated what I looked like. I hated it. And so I was like, you know what? This is it. This is it. And I went from we've talked about it on the show before, but I went from 359 pounds to 218 pounds in a year. Less than a year. Probably like 8 months.
Wow.
Well, you know what they say, anything on the average person's body, in this day and age, anything below 12% body fat is basically unhealthy. Like, yeah, there are some people out there. They're skinny. They're meant to be like lean, and like can live under 6% body, under 8% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like anything under 12% in this day and age right now is like unhealthy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not like doing that again, but I want to be smaller and healthier and, not as large, I guess. I want my old clothes to fit, LeRon. Okay. That's where I'm
Same
at.
here. Same here.
So, anyways.
Yeah, we love you. We just don't want you to hurt yourself. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm doing it.
Because the sad part is it's not saying our spouses don't pay attention to us, but usually our spouses are just like blindsided by it. They don't see it coming, and that's anything that like your spouse is doing,
Mm-hmm.
like something you would expect them not to do, and all of a sudden it's happening to them. Like, oh wait, I didn't know you were doing this,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like sometimes we will spot it before your spouse does. Not saying that your wife doesn't care.
She doesn't. It's fine. Just kidding.
Isn't she one of the so and so's for the show? I don't want to say anything before you say anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We should probably do that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you go to patreon.com/Boss Network, you can get this show 2 weeks early, along with Standard Definition, and you can get Expansion Pass and the Boss Rush podcast 1 week early for just $1. But if you are a $5 patron, guess what that means? You are a Patreon producer, and you get shouted out on the podcast. So here are our current Patreon producers: Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adriel Munger, and my wife, Sana Deering.
Yeah.
By the way,
I have to do it that way now. It's
Every time.
I know it's starting to annoy me. I'm sure it's annoying the audience, but I have to do it. It's part of the program, people. You just.
By the way, when we wrapped earlier, from the Boss Rush podcast recording, Quentin actually messaged me and said thanks for the shout out. I never had a shot before, so it was a new experience.
Well,
Oh, that's awesome.
we like our fans, and we like the $5 ones better. Just kidding. We like them all the same. Oh my gosh, it's only Wednesday, guys. I feel like this week's been like 12 weeks long.
For sure. For sure.
Anyways, who's doing something? Who's talking things?
Well, I'm not doing anything, but I can talk about things.
Let's talk about things.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer to start, but I was just curious if y'all could go through something similar, and it could be any variation of things, but this is the first time I ever really experienced what I'm going to coin as a holiday hangover. Not in the sense of alcohol at all, actually, for me these days. It was a very busy day on Easter. I celebrate. So I know maybe there's just maybe some physical exhaustion going from place to place, bringing my son to and fro and having multiple family functions and stuff. But it was a good day. I enjoyed every little bit of it. I got my typical sleep. Sure, I ate a bit much, so I wasn't expecting to feel 100% the next day, but I felt like I got hit by an 18-wheeler truck of depression. Like, I'm not sure what it was. That's why I call it like kind of like a hangover. I mean, I didn't have like the stomach upset or like the shakes or anything, but hangover meaning like I feel like I'm dragging and dreading and everything. And I've never had this experience after a holiday before. Sure, maybe oh, that stinks, the holiday is over, now things are back to normal. But I was actually severely depressed on Monday. Very severely depressed. I got a bit better, and I just wasn't sure. Have you guys felt that either after holiday or maybe a major life event, or even right before starting a work week at some point in your life? I just, I don't know. I kind of felt lost that day, and I'm a little shocked just at this random point in my life.
I mean, I didn't really have any holiday hangover or whatever, but like this, like the last like month or so, I've just been feeling like I've been having that feeling, but like every day, not just after the holiday, but like I don't know. I've just been I guess like to stay on topic a little bit, like sometimes after Christmas, like I used to work jobs where I'd have to go back into work the next day and whatever, right? And so like you go and you do your Christmas thing, and then the next day you have to go back and operate like it was like a normal like a normal week or whatever, and it just kind of sucked because you're like, oh well, today's weird because it's the day after Christmas, and like especially when I was working at the restaurant, it's like a lot of people go out to eat the day after Christmas, and you're expecting the day to be weird anyway, and just the way you interact with people and everything is always weird after a holiday, and it's like I don't know, it is a different feeling. It's a weird feeling for sure.
Yeah, and you're more than welcome to discuss like any other things. Like it doesn't have to be specific to holidays. It's just that because we just had Easter and I felt really weird, that was kind of my jumping point on this topic. I feel like for me, in part, it kind of has to do with my new job. I don't think that's all of it, because not talking about holidays, but on Sundays, I never get the Sunday scaries, quote unquote, like some people say they do in the past or whatever. I mean, not everyone works a Monday through Friday job, but they call the Sunday scaries. But now I'm starting to get that. I really dread, I hate to say it, I hope no one that I work with is listening, dread going to work. They're good people. It's a stressful job. That's all. Good people, stressful job.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I felt that way for a long time with jobs that I've had in the past, the two jobs I've had in the past. But like, yeah, that Monday dread is real. Even if you're having like not a busy weekend, but just like Sunday night, usually like when you're like, especially me when I'm like getting the kids ready for bed and reading a story to them and kind of sitting down for the night and realizing like, oh man, I gotta get up a little bit earlier tomorrow. I have to like do things tomorrow, and it's just it's not that I like dread going to my job. I actually really like my job, but like it is a feeling that's like it's Monday, it's Monday. So yeah, I totally understand that feeling too. Although it hasn't been as bad for me the last few months.
Yeah, like I'll say me for sure. Yeah, like I feel like I get that jet lag effect, coming off of any holiday, like shit, even daylight savings, no matter which way it goes, like I get that whole sensation of like something's just not right about the week.
I like how you call it a jet lag effect.
It really feels like it, like we did a good job of poking fun at the people as like, like we make fun of the people that say I need a vacation from my vacation, and you feel it every time, like you have a 4-day weekend and you come back on a Tuesday and you're like, man, what the hell did I just do? Stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
So I get it from holidays, but I also admit I get it from daylight savings. I also get it from just really weird things, like like if you think a 3 or 4-day weekend's bad, right? Like we think, God, like what would we do with ourselves if like we had from Friday to Tuesday off and came back just to work Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. you know, stuff like that. But just imagine how screwed up your day, how screwed up your week returning to normal feels when you've had like a say like you had a day at a job where you clocked in at 9 and they let you go by 11:30 and the rest of it was a paid day off. Like that'll throw your whole equilibrium off. Coming into the next week and stuff like that. So yeah, so holiday weekends do it to me. Some holidays do it to me too because there are some holidays like they kind of fuck up your week.
It's interesting you mentioned how its impact on the actual work week. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like for most people, like like our weekend comes and goes. Well, it feels like it takes forever to get here until like well, right now it's Wednesday, and I guarantee you by the time we open our eyes again, and take around and look, it's Friday afternoon. But it feels like now I don't know when did it become that our weekends just went by so fast because I know the one thing I paid attention to as an adult, like especially recently after moving into this new place, is it seems like if I don't get up at a certain time and try to maximize my Saturday and Sunday, like what'll happen is like I wound up having to like use the bulk of my day that I wanted to take off, like to do important stuff, like stuff around the house, get groceries, things like stuff like that, and then and so one of my problems is like I don't seize the day, and then I'm wondering where the fuck it was 8:59 p.m. on a Sunday night, and I'm like, what the fuck did I just do with my whole weekend? It was like, well, I should have got up at 6:30 and not just went to the gym, but actually, I did something I want to do today. Not saying that people don't want to go to the gym, because shit, when I reactivate my membership, I will want to go there all the fucking time, but you have a dirty mind.
I wasn't laughing at that. It was just the way you said it was.
I'm sure you weren't. But yeah, so I'm one of those people. I guess if the standard time, if the standard length of time is off, so basically Saturday and Sunday, once it stretches, like it just screws my week up.
Yeah, I believe humans in general, we're creatures of habit, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned daylight savings because I remember when I was younger, daylight savings really didn't impact me much. I was like, oh, yay, we get another hour, but whatever. But I'll admit, the last, again, I'm telling you, once you hit your 30s, it's all downhill. This year, I felt the spring, lose an hour. I actually felt that. I'm like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I went into it not expecting to feel anything, so it's not like the placebo effect or whatever psychological influence. I just felt like, I don't know what happened. Like I flew halfway across the world. I'm like, it was only an hour. I don't know. Maybe I'm a baby. I don't know. And then that's the thing, taking a vacation from a vacation. I think in part it's me being an adult single mom and just needing to have that momentum, but also in the fact that maybe COVID as a factor, I have not taken an extended vacation in a long time. I get anxiety at the concept of more than 3 days off in a row.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. It's very sad.
Yeah.
But I get anxiety thinking about it.
I even when I this past weekend I worked from home for work, and it was it almost felt like a 4-day weekend because I was at home, but also I was working, so it was kind of like what's happening here, and it's confusing sometimes, like, oh my god, I'm supposed to be working, but my kid's yelling at me, and then I gotta do this thing for work, I gotta edit this video, but also working from home is not ideal here. So that's all I have to say about that.
Sorry for all that dead air.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure it's a lot different with 2 kids and everything at home. Mm-hmm. I have a very difficult time working at home when my son is with me, but not to go on a tangent, as I frequently do. I don't know. That really was just kind of it. It just kind of shocked me. Just a little bit of background. This might be, well, I was going to say TMI, but this is after dark. I do have a medical history of like clinical depression. I'm being treated for it. I unfortunately had to go through several medication trials, some of which I've had very horrible side effects that have ultimately, one way or the other, had me end up in the hospital at one point. So, and I do have just generalized anxiety, and I have OCD. So a basket case. No, but I'm okay. But the history is there. So even though I'm very thankful that by now, like, I'm stabilized, like, I'm actually just generally a happy person, and I have the tools that I need to manage. However, the way that I felt the Monday morning after Easter was like reminded me very much of when I was actually in the throes of my clinical depression.
Oh God.
And it scared me. It really did scare me. And I'm like, especially when I could not reasonably logic out why I was feeling that way.
Yeah, it's a scary feeling. I've never been like clinically diagnosed, but I mean, you kind of go through those phases where, like,
where it's like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, like, I don't know, because there's like a difference between like, oh, I feel depressed, and then there's like real clinical depression, and I want to be careful to walk that line.
I get, but like, I feel like every human being, even if they don't have clinical depression, goes through like a feeling of depression, and that can be just as valid. It is just as valid.
Yeah, and like I fight myself on that a lot too. Is like, I always like, sometimes when I'm feeling down, like, I mean, recently, the last like month or so, what I kind of started to say earlier, but I backed off because I wanted to get through the topic, is like, I've been kind of feeling, I don't know if depressed is the right word, because like everything in my life is going really well, but like something has been off, and I feel like it's off, like I feel like I'm off, and I don't feel good in certain ways. And it's like, I don't know, even like when we go to do a podcast or something, and like it's supposed to be a time where like I'm getting excited, and I'm gonna hang out with my friends for a couple hours and talk about stuff that we love. And like, even today, like when we, like before this, when we recorded the Boss Rush podcast, I felt off. Like, I just felt off. And sometimes I deflect on that by like trying to crack dumb jokes that, I mean, it's just like, to get back to, I don't know. I don't feel like myself recently, and I don't like it, and it's hard to get back to feeling like
think
myself.
What might be, and you let me know, Corey, like if this is part of what's frustrating you, is what I'm hearing is that you're having a difficult time pinpointing why, because you said, everything in my life is going well. I don't understand why I'm feeling this way. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of where you want to take a step back and kind of assess, because I know I get very frustrated when I can't find a reason why I'm upset. Like if something bad happened to me and I'm upset by it, at least I can be like, all right, I know this will pass, because it's just my body's way of reacting to said negative experience. But when you're feeling off, but you don't know what's causing it,
yeah.
And like, I mean, I feel off to the point where like last night, like I was sleeping and I woke up and like drenched in sweat and like full of anxiety, and like I was anxious. I was like scared for some reason, and I wasn't like having a nightmare or anything. And I woke up and I just like went to the living room and laid on the couch for like the rest of the night, and I didn't sleep well, and I don't know what it was. I can't even point to like what I would be even anxious about at this point. Like, I mean, I guess like life stress and work stress and stuff like that, but that's like normal everyday things. And I like it's happening more and more recently, stuff like that. And I don't know what it is, and it hasn't made me feel very good, you know. I don't know if that's depression. I don't think I'm depressed. It's just like there's just something else that is not making me feel like myself recently.
Yeah.
So,
Well, keep an eye on it. At least you're acknowledging it, and that's important, because what part of like the diagnosing stage, whether or not it is, a lot of it has to do with timelines. Just from my dorky, here's something you can learn about medicine is, I believe it's 6 months is when people really start looking into what you're going through. And well, also severity, not just time, but the severity during said time.
mm-hmm.
You mean people like the actual person involved, or people outside?
The person involved, when they ask you those questionnaires, like how long have you felt down, blah blah blah, have you lost motivation? Loss is a huge sign. Loss of motivation to do something, or not experiencing joy when doing something that would typically bring you joy. And again, unless you're feeling severe symptoms, like heaven forbid, suicidal thoughts or something. But if we're just talking about like generalized depressive symptoms, usually like, well, how long has it been? And usually once it's like 6 months or longer, doctors will look at this from, this doesn't seem like it's coming from an incident. It seems like there's something larger going on. Whatever reason. This, by the way, is not meant to be medical advice. I want to put this huge disclaimer. This is not medical advice.
Please do.
Do not take anything that I say as actual clinical fact. Side note, if you do feel not yourself, I do always recommend seeking the help of a medical professional. Just throwing that out there. I realize I was starting to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if it's like I really don't know what the problem is, and like everything I look at, it's like there's nothing big enough, no problems big enough to point at and be like, oh well, this is it, you know. Like I stress out about our podcasts and stuff sometimes, and I stress out about work sometimes, and I stress out about home kid stuff and whatever, but like to me those are just like normal things, you know. I just don't know.
Well, I think sometimes people can overlook that it's maybe accumulation of all things. Or also, the human body, again, not to get all nerdy, when we stress, we release those like the cortical, like the steroids in our internal steroids in our bodies, corticosteroids, and they're not good on the long term. That is an acute physical response to deal with your stress. Once stress becomes chronic, your body doesn't really run well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, not imposing any sort of medical advice, but I'm just saying, like, even if your life seems to be running smoothly and your stresses that you have now are just your typical stress of being a parent, being a full-time working adult, maybe it's because they're all happening at the same time, and then maybe your body's just getting a little bit tired from all of it. Because altogether it might be a lot. Maybe separately it's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot, so maybe that's it. I don't know, but nobody tells me to stop, LeRon.
Hopefully we can kind of.
Corey, don't take him seriously, because I'm telling him at least twice a week, slow the fuck down or chill. Yeah, like.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I was just looking at just real quick, DSM-5 diagnostic criteria, because again, I'm a nerd. They talk about you must meet these following criteria if the individual is experiencing 5 or more symptoms during the same 2-week period. I don't know.
Ooh, I'll take this test.
I was gonna say 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I don't know why I maybe in the past something to I read somewhere 6 months, but I'm just saying like because I'm nerdy and looking at it says
Nerd.
Is it like a series of questions?
or statements. So this is coming from the DSM-5, so it's like an actual like legitimate source diagnostic criteria.
I'll take this test right now.
Okay, and again, for people who are listening, please do not take this as serious. Like, go see a doctor, please. All right, but for us and for this topical purpose, the first one. Okay.
I'm ready.
No, sorry, I'm just reading the rules. Depressed mood most of the day, nearly every day. Maybe just count it off on your finger if that's a yes or no. Number 2, markedly diminished interest or pleasure in all or almost all activities most of the day, nearly every day.
Repeat that one more time.
Markedly diminished interest or pleasure in all or almost all activities most of the day, nearly every day.
Okay.
Significant weight loss when not dieting or weight gain. Decrease or increase in appetite nearly every day.
Okay.
A slowing down of thought and a reduction of physical movement observable by others, not merely subjective feelings of restlessness or being slowed down.
Okay.
Fatigue or loss of energy nearly every day.
Okay.
Feelings of worthlessness or excessive or inappropriate guilt nearly every day.
Okay.
Diminished ability to think, concentrate, or indecisiveness nearly every day.
That's like every day for 30 years.
Okay, next.
And last but not least, recurrent thoughts of death or suicidal ideation without a specific plan or a suicide attempt or a specific plan for committing suicide. So that's 8. And to meet criteria, according to DSM-5, is these things would have to have been in the same 2-week period, at least 5 of those symptoms, and one of which should either have been a depressed mood or lost interest or pleasure.
Yep, that was definitely one.
Okay. Did you have a total of 5 or more?
I had 3.
Okay.
I had 3 because I can't remember. I should have been jotting quick notes down, but the one that Corey was like, basically everybody should take.
The diminished ability to think or concentrate.
Yes.
You know what's ironic is when I was going through my clinical depression, that actually was not one of them. Like I was definitely depressed mood every day, no interest, weight loss. I felt like I was feeling very sluggish. I was constantly tired. I definitely felt worthless and guilty all the time. Like, that's when it was like so bad. But if I look at these questions now, my answer is actually no to most of them. So it's very interesting to see how the answer has changed after treatment or seeking therapy. So
that's a very good point.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's all interesting stuff. I do like how this topic kind of took an interesting turn because we're talking about all forms of depression. Situational, like after holiday, even though I don't know the reason why, but I still call it situational, right? Versus either developing or having an underlying clinical depression.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I was going somewhere with that. I don't know.
Good topic.
Yeah, for real.
We can move on, but again, I'm sorry if I'm a broken record, but I do want to say, like, everyone out there, you're not alone. Try not to self-diagnose. I take it from my own personal being burned on that. If any of this just seems to hit you a certain way, really, I am serious. Seek medical help from a medical professional.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, this is the one last thing before we change topics. And maybe we can continue this another day because I know time is ticking. But I'm a big advocate for mental health, especially depression. Being what I went through, I don't know if any of y'all have parents or family members or even friends, I guess, especially of the older generation that do not believe depression is a real thing.
Okay.
Because I have family members that are like, there's no such thing as depression. You're fine. I'm like,
I've never seen how my parents like approach like the idea of depression. I mean, I've never heard my mom say anything negative about people who, like when we see commercials and it's like, are you having these thoughts or these symptoms and stuff like that, and then come to find out it's about depression. I've never heard my mom say anything derogatory about that. So like that. So I don't know how my parents would be about the idea of depression. But the other thing I also know too is like I'm not really sure I got a chance to like go through that because I'm one of those people who like I don't know when I learned how to do it, but I learned how to guard my emotions. Like of course it's hard to it's hard to hide from expressing that you're happy about something, things like that. It's hard, but like some of the other stuff, like you can definitely like bottle those up and nobody would even know like your mood had changed at all, stuff like that. So it was just never depression was never like a thing that happened to me when I was growing up in my parents' house and stuff like that. So I don't know how my family would react to mom, I think I'm depressed and I need to go see a psychiatrist, a doctor. I don't know.
Okay. That was all. That was my last comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we turn things around?
Okay. All right, cool.
Watch this. Hold on.
For our audio listeners, Corey is literally turning around.
He's spinning in his chair.
I turned around. Sorry.
Okay. I have a topic.
Don't laugh, guys. It's fine.
Ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
All right, LeRon, spill the beans.
Okay. So earlier this evening during the Boss Rush podcast, we were talking about some things that men can do and women can't do, and I was like, hold on, before we start doing this thing, let's save this for after dark. So here it is. When it comes to sexes, why is there this double standard? And also within this double standard, there's a double standard on sex as well as a double standard on sexiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like we should always defer to the actual woman in the room because we outnumber you. That's why you'll probably hear like Corey. I'd say what if we start talking first? She'd probably hear like 7 bad takes before she has a chance to speak.
I will not comment first on this topic. That's all I have to say.
That's been Corey's stance all night, by the way. It's currently the time of this recording, 11:20 p.m. on a Wednesday night. And this is not our first show with Corey this evening. And this has been his stance the entire night.
No comment. No. I mean there's stuff I have to say, but I want to wait for a second.
So diplomatic.
See what I mean?
Wow. All right. Well, can I just pick? Then can I just pick one? Like maybe personally irritates me. Not as one of the top ones.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, it has nothing to do with sex. Though there are some other ones. But my top one is when women get upset. Now, actually, I do think that I've seen lots of women be overly hysterical for no reason. But just generally speaking, if a woman gets even mildly upset, let's put it that way. Like if they are reasonably, Corey, I see you rolling them eyes. What is this?
I'm not rolling them at you. I'm just waiting for my turn.
Wow, you're already getting yourself in trouble just with that attitude, Corey. When a woman just gets upset about something, or maybe speaks up, she is. Went off camera. Wow, I feel disrespected. The woman I mean, men won't say this as much anymore than the older generation, but it's still implied like, oh, the woman's on her period, or the woman's just being emotional, or the woman is a bitch. And if a guy is upset, it's completely a rational reason to be upset. And I hate that. That gets me the most upset. Gets me the most upset. It's just like, I can get upset. I'm using upset a lot. I'm getting agitated for legitimate reasons, not just because I'm feeling bitchy. When do you? I don't know. I don't like it because I feel like women are taken very seriously when we get.
I mean, I think that's been the problem forever, though. Is like, I mean, in this male-dominated world, right? Like they just assume that, and it's not fair. You know, it's not fair. You know, it's the same, or it's not the same, but it's similar to like what we talked about at the end of last week's show, which will probably be a topic at some point in terms of like the way we were raised and the way we look at people. And like, yeah, I'm trying to be the best person I can be about, you know, if I'm out at night and I see someone shady, like, does that mean I'm a terrible person or a racist or something, you know, like it's just like this, it's this pre-existing thought that somehow we were taught as males to think about women, and we have to start thinking about it differently. And that, you know, everybody's allowed to be upset about something. Okay. Everybody's allowed to take things the way they want to or need to, and they can express themselves the way they want to. And that's okay. You know, it's not, you know, and of course, like in my late teens and early 20s, I'm sure I made a lot of bitchy period jokes. I'm sure I did, you know, just like I'm sure growing up in an all white town where black people were scary, I'm sure I made a bad black joke once or twice, you know, like I'm sorry that I did that. You know, I've grown from when I was a stupid teenager to now, right? But like, you know, I'm not proud of those today, you know. But I think that the general public still views women that way, and it's not fair.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I don't also want to be that type of woman that also insists that we are perfect, because some women get like so overly defensive. No, like there are times when I know I'm getting my period because I'm extra fussy. So like I know I'm very self-aware that hormones actually do have influence, and that's just pure biology. Sorry, it's science, but still, we can be upset for legitimate reasons too. And I used to date someone who every time he talked about his ex or even his daughters, because he was a bit older, he had like preteen daughters. They're like, oh, you know, women are always so bitchy. Women always complain because they're crazy. And I'm like, this is such a turnoff right now. Like, it feels like every single time he deals with something negative coming out of a woman's mouth, it's because they're just being bitchy or crazy. That's the other thing, crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I called him a sexist to his face, and he didn't like that.
Oh, that's funny.
But sorry, that was like my first rant. But we can get to like other types. Like what brought this topic about was nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I thought this topic was going initially.
Well, I had to get that out of the way because that is also a double standard, Mr. By the way, can I remind everyone that Corey referred to me as a double standard when introducing me at the last episode of Boston?
That was a joke. Oh my gosh. I also made a really bad sexist joke about being young, okay? Can we just let it go?
Ageist, you mean?
Whatever, same thing.
Sexist?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, sexy ageist.
So apparently I learned that we cannot show people male nipples on Twitch.
Yeah, I never knew the exact like rule or guideline on it, but I had a feeling it was men cannot show their nipples.
Which I don't know. I guess now that I think about it, maybe that's a more of an equality thing, right? Because no nipples can be seen, but I guess speaking of that upraising, Corey, like I was, actually currently we're still to this day like women's chests must always and forever be covered, where men can mow their lawn with their shirts off.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, like, like I really don't like that that is a thing, in all honesty. Like, I feel like, if it wasn't for the fact that, like, men are Neanderthals in the first damn place, like, this shit could have been happening, longest time ago. Um, you know, because I just don't get it. Like, yeah, there's a time and place for there's always a time and place for clothes and stuff like that. But, like, certain locations in certain areas, like, I don't see why there can't be a completely topless rule. And it's not me trying to be like a perv and trying to go to a nudist colony and like that, because that's a little too free for me. But
Well, I mean, it's all cultural, right? Because when I went to
yeah,
Europe for the first time and I went to a spa and a hotel that was both genders or all genders, and there's nude, people just walk around naked, like
yeah,
completely, but they don't really sexualize it, like kind of
hmm
how we sexualize body parts
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
as obsessively.
yeah. The whole thing confirmed my thinking about Twitch's views for as far as like perceived nudity. But yeah, like, it's just been one of those things. Like, I never quite understood it when I was a kid. Like, okay, why are we at the swimming pool with no shirts on, but they aren't, stuff like that. Like, I was one of those kids, because I didn't realize there's a difference between sexes, when
Well,
I
yeah,
was
especially when
asking
you're
that question.
younger, the girls aren't developed, so they're literally the same,
They look like boys with longer hair for the most part.
pretty much. Yeah, I always thought it was it's weird when I see, I mean, it's not weird, but it does strike me once in a while. I'm like, why are like little girls wear two-piece bathing suits? Why? No, like why? I don't get
No,
it.
no, no, no. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing at the question
Oh
either.
no,
I'm
and I
laughing.
wasn't questioning you. That was like me, like why to the parents,
Yeah,
hypothetically.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I was laughing because the outright reaction, and we all know it's because we live in a society full of bad people.
Yeah, and that's not me being like all what do you call it, like super conservative. But it just doesn't make logical sense to me.
Yeah,
Because a two-piece was originally what, bikini and showing the feminine figure, but before puberty, boys and girls kind of are the same minus one body part.
actually, yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, you're gonna say something?
Uh, basically, I was gonna say, actually, like the fact that, like, boys and girls like look so much, boys and girls look so interchangeable. Like, last night, Chris's 3-year-old he just did like a quick, like, high and by, like peek on the camera while we were getting ready to record Crossroads, and Stoy didn't know that Corey actually had a son. So yeah, so like Bodhi jumps up there to the camera, and he's like, and Story's like, hey, how old is she? Because, like, he had long hair,
Mm.
which brought me to ask him the question, like, hey, when are you gonna cut his hair or stuff like that. But come to find out, like, he's acted a fool for like years when they tried to get his hair cut, but so, like, they just left him alone with it. But yeah, like, it's funny how, like, because how boys and girls look so interchangeable, up to a certain age, because, like, you can easily look at the child and be like, oh, is that a little girl or a boy?
Yeah, but and well, going back to the nipple, sorry.
Uh,
Um, Actually, this reminded me of a comedian, and it was a man, and he made a very valid point. It's almost kind of like the reverse, but same point. So, in like, I guess it wouldn't be porn, but in like magazines or something like really raunchy, like
mhm.
the top would be like just barely covering the nipple. Like the skimpiest of skimpiest tops is one that literally just covers the nipple for a
Mhm.
woman. And so the guy's like, men couldn't get away with doing that. That's like me walking around with my dong out, but only covering the pee hole. I don't know why that was funny. It's kind of well.
No, it's hilarious. That's the problem.
I mean, he's not wrong, I guess.
Right? That's the funniest part is that it's true.
Oh man.
He's like, I could not get away with just taking a picture with my hand over the peel.
Wow.
Oh man, that was too good. That was. Oh, I think we can end the show now. Oh boy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone.
LeRon's having a good time tonight.
Okay. Here we go.
Doesn't leave much to the imagination.
It really doesn't. Okay. All right, focus. All right. So, I that is a weird ass double standard, and to be if we're being completely 100% transparent right now, that is a weird ass double standard, you know. But like I said, like, you know, I think it's because, like, you know, like males don't know how to act in certain situations and stuff like that, because, you know, like, yeah, like, you know, like some people just see the opposite sex's, you know, anatomy, and they go nuts, you know. It's not even like they're getting rapey or whatnot. They just go bonkers, and it's weird. And so, like, I've always questioned it, you know, like, and I know I wasn't one of those kids that was just trying to see women's tatas, you know, like whenever I was at beaches or public parks and stuff like that, you know, like shoot, I think maybe like when I was a kid, I only blinked once when I saw someone breastfeeding out in public, you know. Yeah. And then I wound up, as I grew up later, like I wound up being the one that felt embarrassed, you know, because I just saw that, you know. And it's not because I'm a prude or nothing, but it's more like you know what, you know, like it's because our society makes it seem one way, that when I observe it, like I feel guilty because, like, you know, I feel some type of shame because, like, you know, I just happen to see that, and I really shouldn't have, you know. Yeah. Yeah, it's um
Yeah, I breastfed in public kinda, and I did learn that like there really shouldn't be no shame in doing in public, but again, maybe it's the way I don't know,
yeah.
ingrained in my brain already. I still felt uncomfortable whipping it out, you know? I still tried to semi cover it, at least until he was connected to me. And then whatever. So, and it was just me guilting myself. No one gave me any, if they did, I didn't notice. So, wow. I've been talking a lot with, you know, but what about how it's double standards from you guys' perspective do you want to talk about?
I've got a double standard. It's kind of wacky. It's kind of wacky and funny. How come women can wear these and not have a problem, but the moment I wear a skirt, you know, like you know, I wear a kilt, I'm basically wearing a skirt.
But are you wearing a kilt or are you wearing a skirt?
I don't know. It depends on who's looking at it.
Oh, okay. Well, if you mean it like
No,
that,
no. Like I mean, like a traditional, like, you know, kilt. You know, like. But then again, like I after you remember, maybe you may or may have missed it. About a month ago, Oscar Isaac was running around wearing like a kilt, and like it wasn't the most flattering thing for his body, but the fact that he was wearing a modern version of the kilt, it basically looked like he was wearing like an Amish skirt, and people were actually saying stuff like that about him.
well, yeah, especially if it is a legit kilt over a skirt, but we can tackle skirts in a second. It just goes to show how like culturally ignorant people are. I mean, that even I am aware that kilts are part of just traditional menswear that's normal in what's like Irish, Scottish, or around there. Scottish. So like, sure, if I see one, it might jar me for like a microsecond, but then I'm like, oh, it's a kilt, cool. Like, so first of all, I'd have a problem with people who have problems with men in kilts because that's a real thing. As far as dress skirts or whatever, I don't know. I'm starting to see some stuff on Pinterest where like who's that singer from like One Direction that's everybody's in love with that's no longer part of One Direction?
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles is like, and who else? It's a Smith kid, Will Smith's son.
Yeah, Jaden.
Yeah, like he also modeled off a longer skirt. Sure, it's unusual to me because I've never seen men in skirts or dresses all my life, but you know what? Doesn't offend me. Like it's, but I can see that the majority of people could kind of be like, yeah, men can't wear it, even if it is a kilt.
In all honesty, it throws me too, and I'm not sure if it's just because I just feel like some things just are not supposed to mix. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it throws me too.
And no offense to you guys, but like, and this is me coming from like looking at all genders here. Women, when I see women's legs, it's more attractive to me than when I see a man's bare legs. But
that's why I always wear pants when I go out. It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry. The main reason why I want to wear a kilt is because I have very athletic calves.
Okay, well, LeRon, that would be okay. You know why? Because the guy that I'm dating, and I tell him this all the time, like, your calves are so fucking sexy. And he goes, excuse me? I'm like, well, you do. You have very muscular calves. He's like, okay, weirdo. Can't compliment any other part of my body except for my athletic calves.
Wow.
I would love to see him in a kilt. I don't think he'd ever do it, though.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's been like a long, it's not so much a gag itself, but it's been a long running thing in my head that one of these days for St. Patrick's Day I'm gonna go ahead and just like bust out like the green and black plaid kilt.
Please do it. If not, I'll lend you my school skirt. It's probably long enough to be a kilt.
Whoa! But it'll be an actual skirt around me. It's the problem.
It's like a tourniquet for LeRon's giant thigh muscle.
No, it won't even get around his muscular calves.
Jeez.
Speaking of tight clothing, can I piggyback off that, LeRon? Because it made me think of one of my mom's rants the other day. And my mom rants a lot, and most of the time it's uncomfortable. But this one was really funny. Because my mom, I think she's a feminist, but she doesn't realize she's a feminist. Because I was talking about women in tight clothing and how women, some men's fashion now, like the skinny leg jean is now kind of big, but for the most part, women wear tight clothing, very body conforming type outfits. My mom was talking about like how women wear corsets. Now she was more venting about seeing fat people at the gym because it bothers her. She's like, I don't like these women that wear such tight tights and their fat spills all over. Like my mom's it's mean, but it's really funny. Just women shouldn't be. Why do companies make these clothes that are so tight on women? If they should do that, they should do that to the men. How come men get to wear baggy clothes at the gym? I want them to wear those stupid tight tights so their potatoes are hanging out. She was going into detail about bulges and stuff, like how men don't need to wear tight clothes to show off their bulge, but women need to show off their cleavage.
Ow. I don't even know where how to attack.
I know. I don't even know where to go from there. It's kind of like. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, she has a point, though. I mean,
yeah, she does.
Yes. I personally do not want to see a man in such tight tights where I could see everything. But at the same time, I just feel like clothing options for men and women are just very different. And I feel like women
for men are also limited. Like ladies, you have so many variations of certain items that like.
True, okay. But why does a lot of it have to be slutty? Sorry, a lot of it.
To get the horny men to go to the gym. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're also, just side note, they're marketing this towards tweens. Like I went to
they are.
It's at an Aeropostale, which is like meant to be for like teens. And it's like a cry. I'll pull it out because I got it just for pole. Like, not even like I got it as an adult for pole class, but this is geared towards teenagers. It's literally just this. It's like it goes.
Jesus Christ!
Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Sorry, I'm motioning just across my flat
It's
chest.
a really skinny halter top.
Yes. Like, I don't think it could be any less.
You could have just borrowed one of LeRon's sleeves.
I could. But
True.
like I said, like, if you're an adult lady, I mean, first of all, I still don't like the sexualization of women's clothes, but if you're an adult lady, it's marketed towards an adult lady. Like I said, I use it for pole dance class. That should say something. I don't think you should be selling in a store where like 13-year-olds go to shop, because that bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they wonder why there's human trafficking and why it's on the rise again.
Mm-hmm.
Just throwing that out there. Oh, man. I hope my daughter wears these baggy dinosaur pajamas as long as she can.
Yeah.
Well, Corey,
that was
do you have a double standard that?
Yeah. Give us one to bring us home.
I mean, I don't know if this would be considered a double standard or not, but it's something that really annoys me, and I feel like this is the only safe space to talk about this. Like, seriously, because like you can't say anything on Twitter or anything because the internet will murder you for.
Well, won't this episode be tweeted out into the Twitterverse?
It will, but whatever. Then they can yell at me when this episode posts. But like, it really bothers me when like women on the internet post super sexualized pictures of themselves, or like they're quote unquote titty streamers, and then they like somebody comments about their looks and they say don't objectify me or something.
Shit, men do that.
I know that,
I
but
do that.
it's I won't.
No, I get what you're saying. It's like, well, don't slut shame me. And while there's definitely like there's times where there's inappropriate slut shaming, and I do not condone it. Don't get me wrong.
It reminds me of a picture I actually saw today that somebody that I follow commented on this picture, and it was this girl who was in lingerie with a gaming headset on. And the comment on this post was, "How would you like it if I sat on your face?" That was the comment on this picture, or that was the tweet with this picture attached to it. And someone commented on it, "Yes, please." And then her comment back was, "Don't objectify me."
Huh.
And I see that kind of stuff more often than not. Like, not that obvious, but like, you know, it's like, if you don't want somebody to do that, why are you posting that? You know?
No, I'm 100% agreeing with you. I do not like that. I think I think people like that. It's not all women, but women like that like to use the argument of feminism and don't slut shame as an easy out, because there's still a standard that you set. Why would you be in? Am I frozen? Because I see my image of me with just my eyes closed.
You are frozen.
You are frozen.
No, what an ugly shot to be frozen.
Screenshot it quick. Meme time.
If you're gonna choose clothes that are sexually evocative, and you chose this, no one forced you to wear this on a topic or a thing that you're doing that has nothing to do with promoting sexuality. Like, I'm sorry, but like, it's kind of a weak argument. It's no excuse for men or women to be sexually predatory, but I don't know, like, I could game in normal fitting clothes or play a game in lingerie, and it would be stupid of me to not notice a difference on what feedback I am getting.
Yeah.
That would frustrate me, Corey.
Yeah, it's not like I'm like going to yell at these people. They can do whatever they want, but it's just like, it's something that bothers me. That's like, I just don't understand. Like, you have to know, or like maybe you're just trying to attention grab, but like it just feels like it's very unnecessary to you're dressing like this, you know what most gamers are, right? For better or for worse, right? Like, you're going to stream in this like ripped up, like almost like wife beater or tight tank top that goes all the way down, you know, and these booty shorts, or, you know, maybe you are, you know, saying some things or posting pictures, or like you have to know, like, that's what's coming. Or, you know, maybe you like that attention and then you are, I don't know, it just bothers me. But like, you can't say something to them directly, because then they'll like say you're being sexist or you're objectifying me or something, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, you can't have your cake and eat it too, you know. And I don't know if
That's perfect.
And it's like, I don't know if you're like trying to make yourself feel better about yourself to see how many people you can get to comment on your photo because you feel low about yourself or something. But like, you know what I mean? It's stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know where else to go from there. It's just like, that's
No,
the kind of
absolutely, because I don't care. I can guarantee you, the majority, if not all women, if they were not on a camera,
Mhm.
what woman would dress like that out of comfort?
Right.
Nothing sexy is comfortable, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Just so, like, that's already kind of like, well, you chose to wear this for a reason, because you wouldn't be wearing that if you were by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I agree that it's very unfair. It's very hypocritical and very, in a sense, kind of double standardy, because they're doing that double standard to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense.
And they'll just keep saying stuff, like they'll post more pictures, or they'll post, or, you know, they'll whatever, and they'll have like the tweet that's going with the picture is something that's very intentionally sexual, or, you know, like, come smack my ass in Fortnite or whatever, you know, like, it's something like that. And it's like, well, you're inviting these comments, and you're going to get mad because people are commenting like that? No, you don't get to do that. Like, that's...
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if that sounds bad, but like, it's just... I just don't understand.
You get an endorsement from a woman that's not bad. That is very legitimate.
So...
Yeah. Same. All seriousness. I've never quite understood it, and basically, like, the same reasons you guys pointed out, the same reasons I had in my head of thinking about it, you know, like, it's usually like seeking attention, and then, you know, and it's like the revolving door of seeking attention too, because like, you seek the attention to get the likes, the comments, and stuff like that, and then the moment the attention that you don't want comes that way, you get to turn it around and, you know, like, have it play a different way, you know, on the network.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Only on their terms.
Because I mean, I clutch my pearls and I move on. Whenever something doesn't go my way, but, you know, like, I know some people, they clutch their pearls and they like sling them back at the other person.
Yeah. So that was my rant for the evening.
I figured this would go just a little bit funnier, but, you know, we made it happen.
I thought I gave you guys some good belly laughs. How dare you?
Oh, yeah. No, you did. But I was thinking that this whole category would have been like just one big laugh track, you know. But it was fun because, I mean, like,
sorry I ruined your topic, LeRon.
You didn't ruin the topic. No, like, I mean, we're if it gets real, it gets real. You know, that's what I like about it. That's why this show's the best out of the alternative shows.
Well, I get very ranty when it comes to stuff like that, and most of the time, I consider rants hilarious.
Yeah, but no, like, good talks tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Good times.
Yep. Well, We can go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll just go ahead and say this now. This has been Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast of the flagship show for Boss Rush Network. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in, listening to us, also being a patron of our show. Those of you who know who you are. Stephanie, Corey, thanks for staying up with me tonight and doing this again.
It's a good night. Thank you.
It definitely is a good night. It definitely is. Before we head out, here's how you can get connected with the members of the show tonight. You know what? Just keep people on their toes. Corey, you go first.
You can find me at I am Corey in HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast, Nintendo Power Block, and Standard Definition.
Okay. All right. Steph.
You can find my non-sexualized photos on Twitter and Instagram at Klimov_author. Articles on bossrush.net, Wednesday nights on the Boss Rush podcast, and the Disney episodes of Standard Def.
All right. And as always, you can catch me on social media at Exodus803, as well as my Twitch, YouTube, and just my gamer tag for PSN. Don't forget Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Exodus803 for the PlayStation podcast. And of course, the Standard Definition for both Marvel and Mass Effect, the MCU and the Mass Effect franchise, with Corey and Story, respectively. All right, so guys, it's time to say goodnight.
Night, sleep tight.
Good night.
All right.
See you next time.
And come back and join us for another installment of Boss Rush After Dark.
Woo.
Take care.
Bye. Ow.